Hey guys, Ron here. Welcome back to yet another deck profile. Today we have standard Gunningcoleo. Finally, I was so excited to get into this deck profile. Oh my gosh, I've actually had so much fun playtesting with it. Uh, oh man, I cannot tell you. I can tell you, but it would take too much time. I surprisingly love this guy. He's really cool looking, and he's awesome, totally boss monster material, and I love the fact that he has triple drive in standard. Very dear to me as, well, not as dear as Gridora, but he's pretty dear. He's like a deer, like tier 2 deer, LMAO. So before we get into the deck profile, I want to remind you to pick up your quick shields, your I went second, I get more tokens, and, well, I wanted to flex this imaginary gift protect 2 that I will probably never use. So, of course, as per always, we have our starter, Machining Worker Ant, who will be changed to Warectus, and that's another thing. I will be mentioning the cards that I'll be trading out for new units when they come out, but just bear with me. This is you can play it now without having to wait until October type of deck, and it'll still be pretty decent in October, as a matter of fact. It does have a decent matchup against Sherrote and Night Rose, so that's pretty sick. So, one starter, get him out of the way. You pick whatever one you want. It don't matter. They all start. Getting into our grade ones, we have 4 Machining Worker. Shut up. Not Machining Worker. Machining Hornet. His ability is on hit. Vanguard Circle, Rearguard Circle when it boosts or it attacks and hits. Check top 6 for a grade 3. If you added a grade 3, add it to hand, put him to soul. Cool. I'm going to switch him out for 4 Dorcas. So when that comes out, you're going to want to run Dorcas because you're going to want to see your grade 3s and you don't want to rely on having to hit. Next up is 4 Brawny Jerk, star of the grade 1 lineup. Psych, I'm joking, he is the second best. He has the ability to Soul Blast 1, mill the top card of your opponent's deck, and then if that was a normal unit, you Soul Charge back. So you get the chance to Coleo off of your first ride, do his triple drive and guard restrict on first ride if you get lucky with this deck. This has a lot of RNG to it. I mostly use it for the extra discard because it has, when it boosts a unit that attacks a grade 3 or greater Vanguard, cost, discard a card from your hand, your opponent chooses a card from his or her hand, discard it. So you always have more cards than your opponent usually. Not always, it's usually. And you can use that to just kind of be like, get rid of the card. Try guarding now, Weetor. Stupid little boy. Anyways, more grade 1, Stealth Millipede. This is to lock down your opponent's field. Again, showing off the triple rare foiling. That is gorgeous. Lock down your opponent's field, Soul Charge, Counter Charge, that type of jazz. There's not too much Soul Charge or Counter Charge in this deck, but you're not going to use much Soul Charge or much Counter Charge for certain things, so it's fine. I've play tested with this a lot, and I think Powdery Dia Lady is the star of the grade 1 lineup. She is a extra copies of certain things, which I will get into in a minute, but can also participate on the field, and also she looks gorgeous. I just love the triple rare foiling so much on her. Nice. Anyways, getting into the grade 2s because this is where it starts to understand. I will leave her aside because I will explain part of her combos in a minute. I also should explain her ability. Her ability is when she's placed from your hand during the main phase, stand one of your rested rearguards and that unit gets power plus 5,000. Okay, cool. Getting into the grade 2s, I'm running 4 Machining Mantis. No, this will not change. This is just going to stay the same when the new set comes out, on place, Vanguard Circle, Rearguard Circle, plus 6,000, or Counterblast, plus 6,000. Search for a grade 3 from the top 6 cards of your deck. Cool. Second, grade 2, and I think this one you will use a little bit less, but you will also use every now and then. Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, when it attacks a Vanguard, plus 10,000, mill the top card of your opponent's deck. If it's a grade 1 or greater, draw a card. And then, of course, that's Vanguard Circle, Rearguard Circle, 19k attacker, 15k attacker. These are the biggest numbers Mega Colony gets. I'm sorry. And then, the star of the combo, Water Gang. Rearguard Circle. When it stands, counterblast 1, put this unit into your soul and draw 2 cards. So you can ride him and then do the combo with machining Stag Beetle. Is it Stag Beetle? Yeah, Stag Beetle, because not Spark Hercules is the big boy. Which I'll get into in a minute. Or you can just call him to Rearguard Circle and be like, haha, you want to attack this, because if you don't attack it, I'm going to draw 2 cards, and your opponent will attack it. Obviously, you probably want it in soul if you can, but getting into the grade 3s, we have 4 True Demonic Rifle Rogue Gunningcoleo, and his SVR art is sick, but I want to point out his VR art is also sick. The nice shiny greens in the background. I am sorry about the glare. So he basically, when placed, power plus 5,000, drive plus 1, and then Vanguard Circle once per turn. Second part of that ability. If you milled a grade 3, power plus 5,000, drive plus 1, mill the top card of your opponent's deck. If you milled a grade 3 or greater, plus an extra 10,000, plus an extra drive. So it can get 4 drive and be a 27,000 attacker. Then, Vanguard Circle, once per turn, Soul Blast a grade 3, put the top card of your opponent's deck into the drop zone, and your opponent cannot call the same grade as that card from his or her hand until the end of turn. So, the nut is, I milled a grade 3, got 4 drive, and then I milled a grade 0, and you can't guard with zeros. That's the nut in this deck. 4 Machining Stag Beetles is the next. Yes, I have 2 ORs. I'm fancy like that. When placed, Vanguard Circle, Rearguard Circle, from hand specifically, call up to 2 cards from your soul to Rearguard Circle as rest. And if this unit was placed on Vanguard Circle, this unit gets the original power of all the units called with this effect until end of turn. So a cool thing is you can ride him. Let's say you rode your Water Gang. You ride him on top of him, call him out as rest. Then, this is where she comes into play. You can call her as a booster, stand him, do his ability, put him to soul, and then have an 8k booster plus 9k from his Vanguard ability, so it'll be a 29k attacker. So that's it's little, but it's pretty cool things that we can do. And Powdery Dye Lady is basically a 4th and 5th copy of Clear Frame Whirling Wash of Curse Cleansing, who is a grade 3 order card that states, choose one of your circles. This is an act ability, it doesn't say that on the card. Choose one of your circles, unlock the locked card on that circle, and stand the rear guard on that circle. If you unlocked or stood a card, draw a card. So you can start to see where this comes into play, right? Let's say I have 2 Stag Beetles in hand. I ride one. I call him out. Let's say I only have one of this, but I also have one of this. I do this, stand him, draw a card. Then, his ability, put him to soul, draw 2 more cards. Then, call this, call him out. So your Vanguard already got plus 9,000, right? Call this thing as a booster for this thing, so this becomes an 18k, or a 20k. Stand him, and then do his ability again, if you have the 2, and draw another 2 cards. So, for the cost of calling out 3 shieldless cards and a 10k shield from your hand, you draw 5 cards. This is one of the best things that this deck has to offer, and I hate saying that. Like, I don't want to diss it or say it's bad, but it's just draw power. It's literally just overwhelm, but with more steps, you know? And I'm glad that something like this came up in Standard, because it's cool, you know, we have draw power, we can survive things, and that's the idea behind the Gunningcoleo deck. You draw a lot of cards, and, you know, you kind of just beat face like that. So, something I would like to mention, I want to trade out 1 Stag Beetle, and I was considering 1 Cleared Frame, but I actually decided on 1, not Dye Lady, 1 what would be Dorcas, to make these 2 Dova Speed, because Dova Speed has a mill 2 effect. So, on place, mill 2, your opponent has to guard with 2 or more if you milled a normal unit. So Dova speed is going to be insanely valuable in speeding up the mill value of this deck. Getting into the grade zeros, we have 4 heal triggers. Ranplee, it will be Snow Trick. 3 Jewel Flasher. 3 Shelter Beetle. 4 Paralyzed Madonna. And 2 Larva Draft. Or Larva Draft. That's not a T, that's an F. Larva Draft. Who will be a Flater Drafter. One thing I'd like to point out, triple rare foiling Paralyzed Madonna, sexy. I mean, what? I didn't say sexy. I mean, it looks really good. Ha 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 ha. Da, 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 da. So anyways, that's all I really have to say for the deck. I think I want to try doing something with this deck at some point where I can, like, I guess, showcase how to play it, or how I play it at least, and be like, oh, this is why I did this, and just kind of like do a battle against Night Rose specifically, or maybe not even against Night Rose, maybe just against one of its worst matchups, like Kagero with a restanding Vanguard, because, you know, you may have draw power, but let's face it, they don't have the insane amount of draw power that Night Rose has, or mill power, so it's like you have to work harder to mill them out and try and kill them. So I'd like to do a video about that, and I'd also like to start doing matchup videos about Mega Colony, Gridora, and Coleo. Reasons to run Coleo in the Gridora deck, reasons to not run Coleo in the Gridora deck, things like that. And, you know, leave your comments in the comment section. Let me know what you think about this deck profile. Let me know if you think I should do the things that I just mentioned. And thank you guys so much for watching. Have a nice night.